So before we get to the normal video I had for you guys today, Sony announced the next PlayStation 5 beta update this morning and have revealed it doesn't have much, but they do tease something very interesting, and we'll get into that in a sec. So I guess the ability to connect to multiple devices with your controller, your Dualsense controller, will probably be a feature that's featured in this beta. I just was surprised to see that it is the only feature in this beta, but it's still a pretty cool feature regardless, now that we know this thing can connect to 4 devices at the same time, and it's pretty cool how it connects to these 4 devices. After you've paired each of your devices, you can hold the PlayStation button down and triangle, circle, X, or square for 3 seconds, and that will allow you to connect to that specific device. So if you want to connect to your phone, that could be the X slot, square could be your PlayStation 5 slot, triangle could be your PC slot, and I guess whatever else could be circle. So you don't have to Bluetooth connect and pair to each of these devices every single time. You just hold the PlayStation button for 3 seconds with the specific slotted button, and it'll connect to that device. That's a pretty cool way of doing it. The beta goes live on July 24th, so that's tomorrow. And if you do have an extra beta code, as always, I love you guys for doing this for me. Send me a beta code, DM me on X or Twitter, and of course, I'm always happy to get those codes. Now, the interesting thing that Sony has revealed is that the low power mode, the one that we've seen on patents, and the one that leakers have mentioned, and the one that we believe is possibly being used for the next PlayStation handheld, take a PlayStation 5 game, lower its performance to 1080p 60 FPS instead of 4K, and that will allow it to run on the handheld. Yeah, that feature, apparently that's coming to the PlayStation 5 at a later date. They don't specify when, but it is coming. They sell it as an environmental feature, so if you care about the environment, you want to focus on that, that's something very important to you, you can use this mode on supported games, so patch titles that support this feature, to scale back your performance and use less power. That's how they're stating it here, but I really think this is just Sony getting ready for the next PlayStation handheld. This is the testing grounds for the handheld to see how PlayStation 5 games handle with this new mode. Let's see how this develops, but things might be beginning for the next handheld. I'm just surprised that they're essentially doing it at a public beta setup instead of allowing developers to just test this in the background. They're just going to let all players test this out to see how this works, because I don't know anybody who wants to play their games at 1080p when they can play it at 4K. Maybe they do 1080p and they're like, oh, we can push this game to 120, but again, that's using extra performance, and this is apparently all about using less power. So we'll see how this goes. Let's see how this develops. Very interesting way of going about this, Sony, so I'm very curious to see how this develops. But now, back to the normal video. So PlayStation 5 becomes the main choice for developers, and Ghost of Yotei versus Ghost of Tsushima news. Those are the stories we're going to cover today, and if you could hit that like button on the video, thank you to those that do it, and as always, it's very much appreciated. First, from 1 to 10, what is your current hype level for Ghost of Yotei? The game launches in about 2 months and a half, so we're getting pretty close. People have now had the time to watch the state of play and probably have more sober thoughts on it. I'm currently still very hyped for Ghost of Yotei, and I watched the state of play again this morning, but that's just me. What about you? So comment below, from 1 to 10, what is your current hype level for Ghost of Yotei? Let me know down in the comments below. Now, diving into the first story of the video, the PlayStation 5 becomes the main choice for developers. Reading from Twisted Voxel, Moon Studios' upcoming action role-playing game No Rest for the Wicked may not be available for Xbox Series XS at launch. No Rest for the Wicked director Thomas Mahler took to Discord to discuss current market conditions possibly affecting the action role-playing game's release for Xbox Series X/S. It looks like the upcoming title's console release will be limited to the PlayStation 5 and potentially Nintendo Switch 2 at launch. According to Mahler, given the current market conditions, Moon Studios may opt to release No Rest for the Wicked for the PlayStation 5 and potentially the Nintendo Switch 2 for the time being. He added that the studio will have to discuss things with Microsoft in order to see what makes sense for the Xbox platform. Mahler's statement may have something to do with Microsoft's recent announcement regarding the next Xbox hardware not being tied to a single store, implying that the console will support multiple digital stores. The information was shared by Xbox President Sarah Bond, who also revealed that Microsoft has established a strategic multi-year agreement with AMD to co-engineer SoCs across a portfolio of devices, including its next-generation consoles, with No Rest for the Wicked already being available available for Steam, Moon Studios may not find it worthwhile to spend resources on a port specifically for the next Xbox. So this is a wild situation. We've seen games get delayed on the Xbox side due to the Series S needing further optimization being the reason, but I'm not sure when we've seen the developer outright question the viability of releasing on Xbox at launch. It could be, like the article states, why put the resources in Xbox when they already have a PC version out there, so they can just push that, since Xbox is shifting to a PC-like setup, and this would already be available to play via Steam. The thing that's interesting about that, though, is you'd assume the next Xbox is not dropping until 2027 with the next PlayStation at the earliest. We've heard speculation it could drop in 2026, which clicks with this, since this game looks like it's not dropping on consoles until 2026 at the earliest. So if your next console is supporting the Steam store, why are we gonna create a specific Xbox version, put the time and resources into that, when you guys are already going to have this on your store going forward? I will say, though, Xbox still has a current base of users, millions of players, so I wonder if that should still be a worthwhile reason to release it on Xbox. This is just a very interesting situation. Let's see how this goes. And if you're enjoying the video so far, hit that subscribe button and join our growing community on our way to 150,000 subscribers. And now diving into the final story of the video, Ghost of Yotei versus Ghost of Tsushima. Recently, Sucker Punch sat down with Games Radar and addressed comments about the scope of Ghost of Yotei. This is what Jason Connell from Sucker Punch stated. "We designed the game with some of the similar numbers in terms of scale and scope of the last experience in mind. In that way, we actually found it to be quite satisfying, and there were some good numbers to jump off of. We feel that the experience of playing through Ghost of Yotei, whether you're just ripping through the story or you're somebody that likes to just go through the whole world and explore, or you're that hardcore platinum chaser, that is a similar experience to that of Ghost of Tsushima we expect in terms of time commitment." So looking at this information and just going off the numbers of Ghost of Tsushima, Ghost of Yotei will probably take around 25 hours for the main campaign, being strictly focused on that, which I don't think anybody will be. I think people will do side stuff as well, or at least some side content. The mixed time for doing the main story and side missions is about 46 hours, and then you have the completionists, the platinum players. It'll take them roughly around 60 hours, maybe 60 plus hours to finish the game and get the platinum and do everything there is to do. These are numbers based off Ghost of Tsushima's numbers, so they might not be exact for Ghost of Yotei, but based off Jason's comments, it should be around these numbers, around this area. Considering they're going for a similar experience to Ghost of Tsushima, I really hope this means Legends 2 is on the way, and if they manage to get PvP working on that, that could be pretty amazing. We'll see how this goes, but you guys let me know if you're happy or not about the time length for Ghost of Yotei. Let me know down in the comments below, and if you guys did enjoy this video, please hit that like button, as it always helps to subscribe if you're new. I got new videos every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, and now I'll check you guys out on the next one. And welcome back to the after show. This is a part of the video where we have a little fun down in the comments below. If you're old, welcome back. If you're new, welcome. For today's thing, what I want you guys to do is to body, obliterate, destroy, and overall harass the comment section with "Bring on the reveal." I'm very excited to see the reveal for Battlefield 6 tomorrow. It's been so long since we got a proper Battlefield game. Obviously, the last one released 4 years ago with 2042, and that one wasn't really as good. So the gameplay clips look good. Hopefully the game turns out well. Hopefully it has a decent campaign as well, and hopefully it succeeds to the point where we can usher a new era of Battlefield. Like, we're gonna get more Battlefield content, and we're not just stuck with Call of Duty every year. Even though I do enjoy Call of Duty myself, it's nice to have that back and forth between COD and Battlefield like we used to have before. That competition is nice. That choice is nice. So let's hope it goes well tomorrow. And if you're excited for the Battlefield 6 reveal, destroy the comment section with "Bring on the reveal." And I'll definitely heart those comments like I always do, because I appreciate everybody who stays to the end of my videos. And now I'll check you guys out on the next one.